So I've signed over 200 clients for my social media marketing agency, and out of those 200, over 100 of those clients were in the e-commerce industry. E-commerce is obviously a hugely growing and booming industry. There's lots of money to be made as an actual e-commerce business owner, but also as a service provider, providing services to e-commerce clients. And if you're an agency owner, there's a lot of money you can make. But I want to preface this video by saying so many people are trying to get into the e-commerce industry, specifically trying to pitch e-commerce businesses on paid advertising, email marketing, and Facebook ads. And I'm going to show you how I signed all 100 of these clients without pitching email marketing, without pitching Facebook ads, and without pitching any form of paid advertising, purely selling content creation and social media management. So there are some nuances about e-commerce business owners that I want to get into with you in a minute. Before I do so, I'm going to give you a high-level view of our funnel, right? How we actually get e-commerce businesses to know us, to decide to book a call with us, and to actually sign up and pay us money. I'm going to walk you through that right now. So firstly, you have to find a unique way of getting in touch with these business owners. For my agency, we have historically used Instagram and LinkedIn as our primary touch point. Once we have a conversation on Instagram and LinkedIn, we're not pitching them, we then go ahead and offer them a case study. This is free. It's going to be a 10 or a 20-page PDF showing to them a transformation that we've achieved for a similar business to theirs. Now, if you're in my mentorship program, you get a template of this case study, and you also know how to build this case study if you don't have previous results. And so once we send over this case study, we are going to email them and follow up with them after this, just to check in and see how things are going, to see if they got value from the case study, and to eventually pitch the free call. The free call is where we have our quote-unquote discovery call or sales call, whatever word you want to use for it, and this is where we see if what we offer would actually help that brand. So that's our flow. We don't just pitch free calls straight away. We go with the value approach first, build authority, trust, and rapport with the business owner, and then we pitch the call when it makes sense. Cool, so let's get into the things that you need to understand about e-commerce business owners before we start. Okay, first off, I want to make this really clear. The type of person that owns an e-commerce brand is usually quite tech savvy. They're usually a lot more aware about, different marketing channels than your average local small business owner. And you need to know this because it means that you're not speaking to someone that's never heard of social media marketing before. You're usually speaking to someone who knows what it is, who has probably tried it, but just hasn't gotten results with it, or they just don't have the time to do it. Secondly, you need to know who you're speaking with. When you book a call with an e-commerce business, you're typically going to speak with either the founder, the marketing manager, or just a random person on the team, like an assistant or the social media person. You need to know that going into the call, and this applies not just for e-commerce, but for any type of client. And you need to know that they all have different goals, right? The founder is going to basically want to just build the company, right? Make more money, get more revenue, sell more products, and that's usually going to be the motive. The marketing manager is, of course, going to agree with the founder, but they're going to look more into the nitty-gritty details of strategies and tactics that you're actually going to implement. So with that type of person, that's where you're going to spend more of your time. And with the third person, let's just put it as the random person, the assistant or the social media person or the intern, because we've signed quite a few clients that has been the case. We've spoke to someone who's not the founder, not the marketing manager, and in that case we have to get very clear on what their goals are. And many times that person is not actually employed to do the social media and the marketing, but they've kind of just been thrown that role randomly because nobody else is taking it in the company. And so for that person, we're going to spend a lot of time explaining how we can obviously free up a lot of their time, while then they get better results for the founder or the marketing manager, which will help them and it'll be seen in a better light inside of that company. Cool, so let's just say that we've spoke to either the marketing manager or the founder of this e-commerce brand. We have a rough idea of their goals. Secondly, we need to know, do they want this to be in-house or do they want to outsource their marketing? And ideally, you want to know this before going into the call. Because if I know going into the call with an e-commerce founder that they specifically want to keep their marketing in-house, I'm going to make sure that I bring that up in my conversation with the founder. I'm going to explain maybe the pros and cons of them doing that and heavily lean on the cons of them doing that so that they're more open to outsourcing it to myself and my team. Now, for example, if they say that they don't want to keep it in-house and they're completely open to outsourcing, awesome. We don't really need to bring it up. We can maybe bring it up just to re-emphasize the fact that they're making the right decision and lean on how it's a lot cheaper to do that than hiring someone full-time in-house. So selling e-commerce clients, if you're pitching content creation and social media management, from my experience, is not that hard. And the reason I believe that to be true is because, as I mentioned at the start of this video, so many people are pitching e-commerce businesses with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and any other form of paid advertising. And when you look at social media management, for example, versus paid advertising, it's a lot cheaper, which means that it's going to cost the business owner a lot less money to decide to work with you. If you're pitching Facebook ads, you might have a retainer of 2K a month, plus then the business has to spend anywhere from maybe 2 to 5K on the ads. That's a lot of money. That's between somewhere like 4 to 7K minimum that they're going to have to spend with you and the ads each month. If we pitch social media management, we can get this down to around $1,000 per month or even cheaper, which means that for the new e-commerce brands, the ones that don't have huge budgets, you're probably going to sell them rather than the Facebook ads person. When you're selling your service, you do need to know what exactly your service is going to do for them. So if you're pitching social media management, you need to know, does this business owner want to save time and to just hand off the social media, right, just to get it done? Or do they want to see crazy increases in followers and sales coming from the social media? There's some clients in my agency where I know they don't really care if we grow their page or if they get more sales. They really just want to have it handled by our team, okay? For whatever reason, they might get a lot of their sales through business-to-business transactions with wholesalers and retailers, and hence they don't even need to make much money on the e-commerce side. But for other clients, it's, make or break, right? If we don't make them money, they don't want to pay us, and that's just the way it is. So you need to know that. You need to be very clear, what is that goal? And you need to make sure then that your service or your, delivery mechanism matches that perfectly. Because if you are offering social media management and you don't know how to get them more followers and more sales, well, pitching that service as a way to get them more followers and sales, it's not going to work out long term. They might pay you for a month or two, but if you are just completely under delivering on your promise, they're not going to stay with you. Another thing that you need to be very, very aware of is your initial touch point is so important, right? Outreach is the area of your social media marketing agency that most people struggle with. It's the point that if you can master all the other areas relatively easily. I want to remind you that you need to be creative with your outreach, especially when it comes to e-commerce businesses. Again, because they're getting pitched so many times, you need to stand out from the crowd. So in short, you need to be clear on a few things, right? You need to know your outreach process. Feel free if you want to copy the process I'm using. I've literally given it to you in this video. You need to know who you're speaking to, know their goals, what they want out of the service, and you need to make sure that your service actually matches the results that they want to get. Of course, this video is just touching the surface. There's a whole lot more that you need to know about the e-commerce industry and how to sign e-commerce clients, whether you're pitching social media management or Facebook or paid advertising. And I cover that in a lot more detail in a lot of my weekly coaching sessions that I host with my students. Anyway, I hope you got some value from this video. I have another video which explains to you how we signed over 200 clients for my agency. So if you got some value from this video, specifically about e-commerce clients that we've signed, I think you'll get some value from that video as I discuss the other types of clients that we work with as well. Until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.